A Senate trial of Attorney General Ken Paxton set to happen later this summer after Paxton was impeached by the House late last month over what prosecutors call a pattern of abuse while in office. This week, lawyers representing Paxton laid out their case defending the now suspended AG. Take a look.
The impeachment articles that have been laid out by the House are baloney. The Speaker's followers and himself thought that they could pull off what could only be described as a drive-by shooting on a holiday weekend to politically assassinate one of the leading conservative voices, not only in Texas, but also in the United States.
Joining us to talk about this is Eddy Carder, a constitutional law professor from Prairie View A&M. Dr. Carder, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So based on what you heard there, what is the defense's strategy and how effective do you think it'll be?
The strategy of the defense here is going to be, I think, somewhat different than that of the prosecution. If you read about Attorney Busby, he has more of a reputation of being theatrical, more emotional, more sensationalistic, but his objective is to simply undermine the credibility of the process that has led up to the current events and to call into question the legitimacy of the allegations. He's described the process as shameful, as despicable. He's even said that these allegations made against AG Paxton would not stand up in traffic court.
And we did hear from those defense attorneys about a week after, as you mentioned, the impeachment prosecutors laid out their case. Want to play some sound from that.
This is not about a one-time misuse of an office. It's not about a two-time misuse of the office. It's about a pattern of misconduct and using the office. And what he did through those activities will blow your mind.
What do you make of kind of the contrast there, Dr. Carter, between sort of the prosecution saying, look, the evidence will speak for itself, we don't even have to say too much, and the defense seems like more of kind of a process argument, right?
Absolutely. You've hit on exactly the point. Dick DeGuerin and Rusty Hardin, they are heavy hitters. They are tasked with the challenge of proving these allegations against AG Paxton and enabling the senators, I should say, to make a full and informed and complete decision. They want them to be able to take the information that they provide and the evidence that they provide and the testimony that they provide and have a firm foundation upon which they can convict. They know how to present a convincing argument and a convincing case.
Yeah, and as all this was unfolding, we learned this week that Nate Paul was arrested and appeared in court. Nate Paul, of course, Ken Paxton's friend, whose name comes up a lot in these allegations. How does this impact the case going forward?
You know, it's very interesting that Nate Paul was arrested this week, and the question arises as to whether or not his being arrested under federal charges and under a federal warrant is connected to the activities of which AG Paxton is accused. I would point out that at this point, there is no direct line of connection between these two sets of events. However, the fact that they are occurring in such a close proximity of time seems to portend that there may be some connection between these two sets of events and sets of activities. And so we'll just have to wait to see how that works.
Just got a few seconds left. Where do things go from here? What can we expect next?
Well, the first thing that's going to happen is the Senate is going to introduce the rules for the trial. I believe that's going to happen on June the 20th. But already we're seeing Counselor Busby indicate that there's probably going to be a request for delays and procrastination. He even indicated that he may need up until August of 2024 to prepare a good case for this trial in the Senate.
The Senate is saying they want this to be done by the 28th of August of this year, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Constitutional law professor Eddy Carder, thanks so much for being here, sharing your expertise. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.